On today's episode of Tobal's Anatomy, we have all of these little highlighted things down here, which can only mean we do in fact have all of our specialty departments wide up and running. Wide up and running? Sure, absolutely. What in the world? I think that's my elevator on top. So yeah, I've made a office for every single specialty here. Just a very simple item. We've got one office, the break room, the restroom, only the things needed to get these areas completely unlocked for the overnight stuff. So we'll see which of these might be relatively lucrative and how many specialties or special areas and people they send to us. So yeah, here's to hoping all these different departments are going to give us lovely amounts of money and not so much trouble, because I feel like it's possible that we might start seeing people show up who have seriously bad injuries in terms of emergent, oh my god, my leg is getting cut off. So I don't want to advance too quickly, but I probably will start looking at getting our emergency area set up soon. We have gotten a lot of government grants, thankfully. Have 9 fully working departments. Apparently we're missing ICU, which is the only thing left. So when we get ICU, we're going to get Overcure Incorporated, which is kind of cool. Now, 9 fully working, I don't know if that means both emergency and clinic or just the clinic only. I bet it's going to be everything. Either way, that's fine. Down the road, I will start looking into relatively soon. Maybe not this episode. We might do it next episode, but we might start getting our emergency section all set up. So we're going to have a trauma room. We're going to have the ICU set up a floor above us. And we'll start having to take a look at what we need to do in order to make this hospital run relatively smoothly. I'm pretty good on my budget right now. I'm not over budget. Well, I mean, I am in a way, but in terms of how much I've spent in the past, I'm doing really, really well. So we expect to get quite a few people today. 32 sends are coming from the insurance company. So I guess we're just going to see how good we handle it. Look at our crazy janitor staff. It's a massive flood of janitors. I guess what I'll do is probably fast forward, and I'll show you anything that might be relatively interesting. So if we have someone come in here with a massive cut in their head, or we have any major issues, I'll probably show you that. But otherwise, it's going to be relatively quiet. The one thing I do need to do at some point is add in the other type of scanning rooms. We don't have any kind of the CT scan or the MRI, but that's really for neurology. And I believe that we're going to start getting that with neurological patients. So we'll probably get one of those, hey, I don't know how to solve my patient's problem here pretty soon. And also I think, oh my god, that looks horrible. Don't look at my building, it's so ugly. We're probably going to start getting some additional patients that we're going to require more advanced diagnosis soon. Let's take a look at this guy. This guy has Graves' disease. Okay. This is a swelling of, I think, the thyroid gland, right? Okay, so all the survival, the treatment for this is simply antithyroids. So he's going to be, I think it looks like it's a $300 payment. So that's relatively simple. When do they actually know how much to pay? Oh, right away. We pretty much have to assign him the disease or whatever's wrong with him, and then we go from there. Let's see what this guy's got. You're vomiting. That's gross. Triage and reception. There's no clear diagnosis for Joseph Lee. Where are you at? Okay, this is new. So this is someone who needs a CT scan. Okay, there we go. So yeah, sure enough, we are starting to get people who we can't figure out what's going on because we don't have the right technology. So let me do the same thing I did in here, in this zone here, and I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. We've got our 2 additional scanners, the CT and the MRI. A little tight. The MRI is a little tiny room. They have enough room to get in front, and so even if it looks a little bit funky, as long as they've got room to maneuver, I guess that's all they really need. So, yeah, I think we're all set. Let me go ahead and get a couple of people hired in here. Again, trying to get that nice balance of someone who's not super mega expensive, but who has decent enough traits. People person seems fine. Someone who washes their hands a lot is fine as well. I kind of want someone higher in radiology, though. I don't really like to have really low skill in the scanner. You're a night owl. You're not too expensive, to be fair. You're just a piglet, and the rest of the people here are average-ish. 17%, 35% is not too bad either. That's fine. We'll give this to Michael Johnson. All right. There we go. So now, I don't remember the dude. Here he is up here. You can actually get a lot of this information in your your little information notification panel. So I'm kind of curious, if you got the ambiguous results and you're just sitting there, and you're controlled by the doctor, will they tell you to go to the CT? No, not really. We have to do that manually. So it seems like when they get stuck, and they don't have a way to further diagnose the person, they're going to just sit there until you tell them to go to the different department. So, good to know. But otherwise, that should take care of him. I think we were watching this guy up here, Michael Lewis, who has vomiting. Oh god, Legionnaire's disease or esophagitis? If anything else, I've learned that Latin pronunciations is not my strong suit. So this guy's going to cost, or give us $500, which is lovely. What about the guy that we sent down here? Oh look, people are already doing the scanning. We're not really sure what this person has yet. So ankle fracture, ankle contusions. I do like building up ortho first, because ortho surgeries are a little bit less intimidating. They're able to, I think they're able to finish up a little bit faster too. It's like, I guess there's less chance of death, is my major concern. So you're getting someone who, you know, they got a broken ankle, you have to reattach a digit. There's really not as much chance of like open heart surgery death, or someone who has heart failure. So I try to go with the departments that have less of an impact, I think, than anything else. Our lab is getting pretty well used. I think I'll wait till the end of the day to see how many people if anyone was left at home or something like that, or had to go home because we weren't able to get to them in time. I don't want to overhire. Again, I want to try to make sure we keep our costs down as much as possible. Hey, at least all of our rooms are being used. That's pretty cool. The CT room's not, but everything else relatively is. You have a simple fracture of the clavicle, which you're going to get a ice wrap or some analgesics, which is kind of cool. You've got an ankle fracture, you think. Giant cell arteriitis. Pretty fancy. What department are you under? Emergency? Curious. Pretty fun, though. There's lots of stuff going on right now. We're starting to get a lot busier in all of our different departments. The nice thing is, though, well, here's the problem. If our labs get overloaded, I don't really have another place. I could carbon copy it over here, but then we're going to have to move ICU somewhere else. And to be fair, maybe we could move ICU down into this hallway here, because right now, this hallway is just basic emergency care, right? It's just nothing but doctors doing the first level of triage when it's a generic person that comes in. So maybe we could use this hallway for ICU, and that way we keep all of our intensive emergency patients on the same floor. And speaking of that, I guess we should start thinking about how we want to handle incoming emergency patients. Not that I've actually had experience with this yet, I have not. So I don't even know how our patients will be coming in. Like, I think they come by ambulance. Once you actually unlock ambulances, which you have to buy here for $35K, you'll start getting random emergent patients delivered through an ambulance. And once you unlock this, though, you're going to start getting more cases of people collapsing randomly in the hall. So you got to be a little bit careful and not jump too far ahead until you're nicely prepared. You've got the infrastructure to make sure you're good enough to take care of it. So I think I might want to make a custom ICU area. And by that I mean, instead of having like the preset rooms, say the trauma room, right? The trauma center is the first room someone will come to if they're dying. We probably don't have enough money, do we? 23,000. Let's get another loan just so we can see what we are looking at. Let's get this, and I'll go take care of that patient in just one quick second. She'll be down here in the little area in a minute. So the trauma center. What do you mean not allowed at the certain department? Why are you being a butt? Sometimes it'll tell me that. It'll say it's not allowed in this department. You just have to click off of the tab and come back. So lots of equipment here. But by and large, a lot of this stuff is excessive equipment. Like, look at all the extra scrubs. There's a sink in there. There's the standing cabinet. I think all you really need is the bed and the equipment that's in front of the bed and on top of the bed. That's all you really need. So we can make little bays. And by bays, I mean kind of an area that's just semi-private in one big area with the nurse is right in the middle. That might work out. And then on either wing, we could have it going out into the hallway. I'll experiment with that down the road. Who's our person who had a problem here? Oh no, she's gone. Where did she go to? Complicated diagnosis. What you got? What you got for us, my friend? You are being seen by Mark Miller. So I don't know why this happens. I don't know why the doctors just kind of... Maybe it's just a way for you to help have fun with the game. But they don't continue with all these available examinations. So what we'll do... Headache, muscle, and joint fatigue. I guess we'll just do some basic stuff like the temperature, nasal cavity, ear. What the hell is this? Laryngoscopy? That's a bit much. I don't think we want to send that down. Otherwise, we could get a urine sample. We have 3 pages of things to do to this person, by the way. So, judging by what else they tell us for this examination, we'll be able to choose different options. So let's let him do a couple exams and see if we get any more symptoms. She's got a lot of symptoms. Okay, there we go. And all of a sudden, because he did the nasal... Which one was it? The nasal? I think it might have been. So she has basically tonsillitis. So, we could probably cancel the other things that I had queued up. And so now from here, he'll take her and give her the treatment for viral tonsillitis, which is apparently just resting. There we go. Thanks for coming. Where's your 160 bucks. Go home. Take a nap. God, I love hospitals. I love the healthcare system. Okay, so let me go over to the emergency area. I'm kind of curious, and I want to mess around a little bit with this idea of bays. So what we can do is, let's do this. Let's see what we need for the nurse's station. Because what I'm thinking is, I want to have a big room with a bunch of bays on the side, kind of on the edges, and then we'll have the nurse's station and the doctor's kind of standby room right in the middle, so that if there's anyone who needs a help, they can kind of rush off to the side and help them. So someone comes in here, and then let's go into the emergency. How do we do this? We have to go over here. Let's do the nurse's station. I just want to see what's required. So mostly just PCs, and every PC will be one nurse available. So we really don't need all that much space here. So we could, for example, have the nurse's station, or the nurses, whatever you would call this here. We can go in and add the on-call room for the doctors themselves. Again, right in the middle. How big was this? This was by 8 by 6. For the sake of symmetry. All they need is pretty much a desk. They barely need anything whatsoever. Okay, so that's taken care of there. What about the actual trauma center room? It has to be at least 4 by 4. And this would leave a 3-wide hallway. We would need an operating table to stabilize the person. I'll probably actually make it a little bit deeper than that, because it seems like we won't have enough room. Like I said, this section of this hospital is going to be the only thing that's not really symmetrical with the rest of the floors. This is going to be a bit unique because of the way emergency situations happen. So let's do this. Let's trash the room. Go back into management view, trauma center. Let's give it a 4-wide hallway as per normal. And let's say it's like 4 by 5. That's pretty... Oops, what happened here? Why did that let me do it? 5. Okay, 4 by 5 with a nice 4-wide hallway. Okay, so within that room, how much is this going to cost if I start messing around? $5,000. All right, we'll mess around and experiment just a bit. In fact, let's do it somewhere where I have plenty of view and plenty of space. Let me kill that room. I don't want to be interrupted by the wall here, so let's do trauma center. 2, 3, 4. I don't think we really even need a 4-wide hallway. This should be enough space. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right here. So let's do a 4 by 5. Nice deep room. So what I'm thinking by bays is I mean something like this. It's going to be a little nook all the way down. It's going to have its own operating table. It's going to need an anesthesia workstation. Okay, that must have to go in front. Operating room lights across the top. Fair enough. And is that pretty much it? Okay. So then we also need to tuck things like the defibrillator wall, or the defibrillator on the wall here. Or I guess we could have it on a table, like on the equipment table or something like that. Mobile cabinet. Can I have this mobile equipment workstation and then put something on it? Like the defibrillator? No. I have to have it on something different like the defibrillator wall. Okay. We need a fast USG, which I guess we can put on the equipment table. And again, I'm learning a lot of this along with you, so if stuff doesn't quite make sense, then, you know, we'll be moving stuff around and experimenting as we go. Okay, there's the fast USG, whatever the hell that is. Mobile workstation can probably be set up to the back. Is this like the crash cart? A little bit tight. Maybe 4 by 6. Or sorry, like a 5 by 5 wouldn't be bad. We still need an imaging thing along with everything else. So I'll tell you what, here's what we're going to do. I want to be inspired, and by inspired I mean I want to steal something from someone else. So we're going to save the game, and I'm going to show you one of the prefab hospitals, and we're going to see how they do it. So when you start a new game, you're able to go into some existing hospitals. So we're going to grab this hospital here. And I just want to take a look at the layout and see if we can't steal some ideas from them. Okay, we're at a really huge hospital that was kind of pre-made. I think it's by the developers or by one of the player base. So, their emergency room. People come in through this emergency door. And like I said, here's kind of the nurse's station in the middle. This is why I like this idea. And in fact, if you go into emergency, you're able to hover over and see. We have a giant nursing station and a on-call area with 4 doctors and 4 nurses to each during the day. The emergency bays are 5x6. Okay, so it was a little bit bigger than we had it at. And it looks like inside of here, we have all the equipment on the wall. So there's our surgery table that we just saw a minute ago. What else do we have? Surgery wall, the anesthetic thing unit, whatever that was, the viewer, things like that. Honestly, you know, and what's fun, and there's nothing wrong with this at all, you can go in here, and if you really like a layout of an area, you can totally copy it. You can grab this. Let's just grab the 5x6. I guess we'll even take out that neat little, what was this, like a privacy screen. It doesn't really change, but it adds a nice little bit of flair. And we'll call this the ER or trauma 2. I don't know what I had for trauma 1. Maybe I already saved it. We'll call this trauma big from the big hospital. Cool. All right. So that's the trauma room. They also have an x-ray machine in here as well. So I guess maybe they think that through their experience, you get a lot of x-ray issues. So that could be something to keep in mind. This is kind of their clinic. So a little bit bigger offices for the doctors. Looks like they're running with 7 clinics overall. So 7 doctors' offices to kind of triage people as they come in. But yeah, I mean, I highly recommend taking a look at some of the other builds. By the way, if you notice, 4-wide hallway and rooms that are 6 deep. Yeah, that was my inspiration right there. That's how I started the game. I started experimenting a little bit and taking a look at some of the existing hospitals and kind of making it your own. So I think I like to keep some of these, some of the ideas here, and we'll see how we can make this work in our own Let's Play. Okay, we're back. Look how sad this looks compared to everything else. All right, so this isn't even. Dang it. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What was I trying to do here? 5 by something? Can I just not count? Oh, that's right, because it's uneven. It drives me nuts. It drives me absolutely bonkers that in this game, you can't remove this emergency area, and it's 7 wide. And so it won't fit evenly through my double doors. Like, this is the stuff that kills me inside. It's a simple life. It really is. All right, so let's put this in here so I get a good feel for what is going where. There we go. So nice and 6 wide. Let's go ahead and kill off what I was doing here. Oof. Be a little bit expensive. Yeah, I just lost a lot of money by doing that. That's all right. Lessons learned and whatnot. Let me kill this room. And so how much space do we want to give everybody? This should be plenty of space for our on-call area. And if we take the prefab with trauma big, this was the trauma thing here. And so if we smush it up against the wall, that's 1, 2, 3 hallway. That's plenty of space, I think. Now, the problem is, what the heck do we do back here with the rest of our hospital? It's almost too narrow, or I guess it's too small to have an extra hallway. Well, now I'm just torn. We could have everything smushed up against the center. Do we want to have the trauma area maybe off to the side instead? Like we direct people off to one of the areas, one of the hallways? Because I did make a pretty, this is a pretty bulky area, and it's going to be used for other things too. So we're going to have areas with trauma. We're going to have areas with, with different issues or different needs. So we might have our on-call room. We might have our observation ward. So the room that we copied doesn't really seem to work with the way our hospital layout is going. So let's bring the hall back down, or the walls back down. How would it look maybe if we used something like... what was I doing here? Well, that was the middle area. This is my other hallway. Okay. Fair enough. So... Okay, so what if we did use the trauma units, or the prefabs? We have prefab emergency rooms for trauma centers. So these would actually have their own separate private room, which isn't bad. If you ever see, like, most of the ER-type movies or shows out there, they always generally bring someone into... an emergency room itself, right? So we could have like a hallway going up and around. I kind of want a spot, though, where the nurses would be very close by. And in case there was an emergency. I'll tell you what, let me muck about with this a bit, and I'll see if I can't come up with an inspired idea. Behold my idea. I'm going to stick these bad boys outside. We're going to make an extension off the southern edge of the building. So this won't be symmetrical on the first floor, but it will let our patients come through the door and immediately get turned into one of the treatment rooms, the trauma rooms. So we could put a trauma room here, for example, and it automatically builds the foundation when you need it to. So that takes care of that immediately. And how much did that cost? God, quite a bit. I don't want to build too many of those because I don't want to go overboard on our trauma stuff. But think of that as we're going to have, how much is this? This is a 6x6 room. We're going to have one more of those on either side. So 6x6. Sorry, how much is this? 6x6 there. So 6x6, 6x6 again. I think my mouse dragged a little bit. I'm going to put the walls down just to give me a mental reminder of what I was planning on doing here. Because so this is going to be our trauma rooms. They can survive a jaunt down the hallway, right? And then what we'll have is right outside of the door, 1, 2, 3, 4, is our normal hallway stuff here. And we'll have our nurses station and our on-call room right at the entrance, like right here. So we'll have something like, say, let's go back over to our on-call. So this one is a massive on-call room, though. I don't like how much wasted space there is. I want it to be nice and tight in there. So this is 12 wide. So let's make our own on-call room is what we're going to do. In fact, let me clean this up a little bit. Let's put a sliding door here where people will be... Oh, God, I messed it up. It's uneven. What did I do and how did I do it? Okay, I fixed it. No problem. So let's get our door in here again. And we should be relatively good. Again, I'm not really going to open this up hardcore. I just want to have the basics required in order to start trying to get some of the hospitalization stuff going. I know I mentioned we may or may not do the emergency stuff right now, but I think I'd like to jump into it because the next step of the game, the big part of the game, I believe, is going to be dealing with emergency issues. So... and overnight stays. So let's grab one more trauma center, just in case we have two. A lot of money going down the drain. We're already up to our $400,000 loan. I think from here on out, I want to be really careful about how much else I'm taking in terms of loan. Because it's going to start to add up. That the interest level is going to really start to crack down on us. Let's bring our hallway down one more time, and I will get this squared away. Okay, so I'm just going to make a quick 8x6 room for the doctors, and this is going to be the on-call room for them, and I'll do something similar for the nurses. I think I have to add a couple more things for the nurses, so let's check that out real quick. They also need a meal tray and a stretcher. Now, I don't know if I want to set this for the entire area or what. I kind of want to have more nurses than I did doctors, because they're going to be the ones who are going around and checking on any patients who are staying overnight. So I might build another one of these, or I can try to cram a crap ton of nurses in here. Let's see what we can come up with. So this could be 6 nurses here. That's not too bad. That should be enough to deal with anybody coming in, and also leave 2 nurses to help give medicine and food to anyone who's staying overnight. So we're leaving people, people able to respond to emergencies. I'm actually going to give them 2 exits here, too, in order to be able to respond relatively quickly to whichever area they need to go to. There we go. Oh, crap. They need some more stuff. They need this. Is this going to be in the way? No, it's not going to be in the way. That should be fine. Meal tray. We can stick that in the corner. I think they just walk to it, get the food, and move to the patient's room. So it doesn't necessarily need to be anywhere in particular. The stretcher might be a pain in the butt. In fact, I'll put 1 stretcher in the nurse's room. I hope they don't actually try to use this, though. I think I could... Excuse me, I think I can keep some in the hallway. Like, just outside of the nurse's room. We'll test this out. If it winds up being that they actually need more than 1 stretcher and they have to respond and grab a stretcher from only in the nurse's office, but not in the hallways, then I'll try to adjust their room a bit more. Let's go ahead and give them some chairs, but I think we're all set for a little bit of emergency. We're at 23,000 left. The one thing we still need, though, is going to be an observation room. You know what? How crazy do we want to make this? I don't want to use the big, giant prefab. Like, look at the size of the observation room here. Look at that. That's crazy, right? There's a ton of stuff going on here. I think I just want to use a really small room. Oof, that's so much stuff. That's going to be super expensive. How much is this going to run us? Oh, 5,600. That's... Nope, 12,000. Yeah, I looked at the wrong room. But the nice thing is that that's the only thing left. So, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put down the... one of the... And I want to be able to see the patients myself. So let's put down one of the observation rooms here. I'll leave a bit of a gap to get to this emergency room here. So we'll leave a 2 hallway gap. So we have more room to work with. Oof. That hurts the wallet a wee bit. Let's go ahead and put down a bathroom here. And also, on probably the other side at a similar spot for the on-call doctors that might need to go potty. And they also need a common room, break room thing. So I will put that towards this area. Also, actually, I'll put that in... I don't think it matters. We can always move it around if we need to. There's your damn break room. Are you happy? I hope so. So we have a trauma center, we have an observation room, at least one observation room. We'll probably put down another one at some point. I hate to go over budget again. So I think we're just going to try to eke out what we've got. We'll just try to deal with the room we have. If we wind up getting 2 patients in at once, I'll just buy another room, is what we'll do. So we have 2 trauma rooms to take care of anyone who happens to drop by. The second room is only for a backup, or acts only as a backup. Meanwhile, we've got our little private office for the doctors. We got our office for the nurses ready to go. Not exactly the prettiest area in the world. It's pretty cramped, and I think I'll expand as I get more comfortable with what exactly happens in emergency. Right. So all of the facilities are placed. What are you missing? Oh, you're missing a printer. Goodness gracious. Here, have your damn printer. All right. So they got their printers. They're nice and happy now. So in order to enable this, we need to have both day staff and night staff. So this is the first time we're hiring someone for a night shift. So what we're going to do is do our standard hiring. Now, I probably want to get someone who's in pretty good with the acute medicine, right? They're the ones who are going to be treating emergency patients, right? So it's access to specialized procedures for diagnosing and treating critical patients, right? So someone who's relatively good. God, they're so expensive, though. Very expensive. 600. Again, that's not when they're used. That's all the time. We're paying them that much money. I might have to take a bit of a loan because I just went over. Boo. Let's try to grab... Here we go. Jennifer King. You are pleasant and you're a germaphobe, which is not a bad thing. You are a fellow. Congratulations. Welcome to the day shift. We're also going to give a doctor at night to take care of anything that comes in. We'll probably need to give it to someone who's relatively good. Here we go. Here's an attending that's not too bad. 32%. Not the best ever, but hey, we need a little... nurses need, or doctors need experience like everyone else does. Meanwhile, we'll get a couple of patient care. Do we need advanced care? Clinic revealing appearance of patient symptoms. That's kind of cool. You'll always see, when you're hiring people, you'll see different things up at the top. So you'll see things like, this is a critical care nurse, or things like that, or it might be an anesthesiologist. You'll see little tabs up here. That's what these are for. It's letting you specify and look for someone who's, hey, I want to search for any anesthesiologist. That's how you can do that. So, let's grab our early bird here, maybe. Are you pretty good? You're pretty good. You have... Oh, God, you're horrible. Your 7% is revealing their symptoms. 47% is patient care. That's fine. So you're on for the day shift, and for the night shift, we'll grab someone who is relatively a hard worker. There we go. Okay, we now have hospitalization at emergency, so we're able to take in critical patients there. I will go ahead and put one more... Now, you know what? If we need another doctor down here, we'll add them, is what we'll do. Wish we had carpet. I feel like the on-call room should have some carpet. Nice, relaxing colors. You know what? No, let's give them wood rooms right here. There we go. Beautiful. Why not have a wall between them? Well, the nurses can't stand the doctor, so they definitely need a wall. Can we make that happen? Okay. All right, that's taken care of there. I think we'll just kind of let things roll for a bit. I doubt we're going to get any emergency patients, but they might collapse over here in the waiting room. So we'll have to keep an eye. You'll see a message about someone who's collapsing, and they'll have lots of drama. No one looks like they're in bad shape. Chest pain. Oh, God. Mitral valve prolapsed. Now, you're going to require surgery, won't you? Let's go ahead and mark this person as a favorite. I want to see what happens to them. Ankle injury is pretty standard. 7 hidden symptoms. Mitral valve prolapsed. What is the result of this? Anticoagulants, that's it? Okay, well, fair enough then. I guess we won't mark them as our favorite. So all they have to do is be diagnosed and given drugs. Lovely. Let's take a look and see what's going on at our other specialty departments real quick before we wrap up the episode. How is the... Oh, I meant to do this. I meant to check out yesterday. Let's go back to our statistics for yesterday. Day 2. You can actually click on the tabs to get the different statistics. So what I'm looking for is any rooms that were critical. And it doesn't look like there were any. We had medium use out of the emergency areas, low use of radiology, and low use of our medical laboratories. Cool. That's what I was hoping for. Not too long of a wait. And I don't think anyone yesterday was left behind in terms of they had to wait so long that we closed on them. All right, we're rocking. We're rocking, you guys. I'm waiting for them limbs to start falling off and everything going to hell. Any minute now. All of our departments look like all the doctors are like taking breaks at the exact same time. Are they really? They actually are. That's so weird. Are they on the same cycle? Does everyone take a lunch break at exactly at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Well, fair enough, fair enough. Right, so in terms of insurance, where are we at? We have to treat 5 patients per day at any specialized department, so that's going to give us a pretty large grant. I'm looking forward to that in order to help pay down our loan. 20 patients at emergency will increase our sends to 15. And why are we low on sends? I thought they started out with 10. Did we let someone die? I don't think so. Is our reputation injured? Injured. Is our reputation down? No dead patient, satisfaction of patients. Oh, so each of the departments has reputation too, which is kind of cool, or prestige. So we could try to have the most prestigious general surgery department in the entire area, which is kind of cool. It's a mix of your staff happiness, it looks like, as well as your patient happiness, and how many people have dropped dead recently. Lovely. That's great. That's awesome. Oh, I missed it. Down here's our overall prestige, by the way. So we are at... today's a little bit more prestigious than yesterday. Influences the amount of patients arriving to your hospital and some of your insurance payments. Okay. So it seems like we're a little bit short on our radiology department. Why is our radiology department a little bit less prestigious, if you will? What's going on with you guys? Is it because we were short for a while? I think our staff isn't really that satisfied. Belly filled, rested, had coffee. What are you guys grumpy about? What do you have to be grumpy about in radiology? You want some flowers? Okay, you know what? Fine. We're going to put down some damn flowers. Maybe that's what they want to be happy. Here, have a potted plant. I'm sure that's nice and healthy inside of your little office. Let's see if that'll do it. We'll check back later on. Interesting. So we actually had 2 patients get transferred into our observation ward. And I don't even know where they came from. I think they came from general emergency. Now, they didn't collapse because I didn't get a message about anyone collapsing, as far as I know. So, John Robinson just came in, and he was triaged in reception. He had a physical examination. I wonder if they're just keeping him here for observation. Admit the patient for observation of symptoms and diseases. Required an observation room. Okay, so this is just part of the observation room for the emergency department. Not necessarily the worst thing in the world. So really, we probably want one more of these a little bit closer up to where people will be coming from. Although I suppose we don't want it too terribly far away from the nurse's office. I might trash the restroom and the guest room, the restroom and the staff room, move them over to this area, and then put more observation rooms in this, kind of in this zone. You're relatively okay though, right? Did you just turn pale? Oh, it's because I'm hovering over you. Terrifying. So he's not critical or anything. He just has a bit of chest pain. I guess that's where, you know, like, okay, so when I turned 30, I had a bit of indigestion one night, which was really severe, and I thought I was having a heart attack on my birthday. So I went into the ER, and they pretty much put you in trauma room. I think the trauma rooms are more for people who are in really bad shape, like gunshot wounds, or they come in like bleeding hardcore. They put me into a little bit of a private bay. That's more of an observation thing. So I think that's a little bit more like it. Or maybe they did put me in the trauma unit. I don't know. I was a little bit concerned at the time. There you go. A little more you'd know about Tobal and his terrible indigestion pains. All right, let's speed up and finish this day off, see how much money we've made and how much money we've spent. And maybe, man, we're still really tight on money. I'm trying to pay down this loan because at the end of the day, it's going to hit us pretty hardcore. We have made $7,600 today, though. So all of our departments are making the monies, which is nice. Of course, radiology and the labs don't really make money per se, but they help with the diagnosis of other people. Oh, hey, she's also grabbing a random stretcher that was relatively close, so she didn't have to grab the one from the nurse's station. So, good to know. So this is interesting. This guy came in after being... Why are you grabbing that one for? That's a bit awkward. I think I'm going to throw a stretcher outside of their office, or outside of the observation room, because they just grabbed it from the main trauma room. I don't think that's a great idea. So he just kind of went upstairs. I think they're testing his urine right now. So if I look here, and I look under the lab section, do I see my patient anywhere? I don't think I do. Where do you normally see that at? I thought you could see the symbol of who's being worked on. What does the 2 mean? Is this the Q? Maybe it's how many people were waiting to get their labs taken care of. So basically, it says right here that urine analysis is being tested. So maybe what they do is bring them to an area to get tested, and then they send them back home. So where are you going to? You're going to get an x-ray of your chest. Well, I guess they're just going to take you up to get x-rayed. It does take a lot of the nurse's time, though. Just think about how much time we're spending right now. This nurse dropped him off, and he's going to have to go all the way back and pick him up here in like 5 more minutes. So that does take a lot of your nurse's time. So you are going to have more nurses on staff than you will doctors at any given point. Nurses do a lot of the grunt work. There we go. We've got more objectives getting completed. Interesting. Next intern for hire will be great. Save a patient after collapse. We didn't lose. But we weren't able to see 3 people today. I'm gonna have to find out where they went to. If we treat 5 patients, we're gonna get a $50,000 grant, and if we save a patient after collapse, we'll get an amazing intern. That's kind of neat. All right, so who do we miss today? We missed 3 patients. Where were you at? Let's see. Lisa Wilson, you're just leaving. You were triaged. I wish you'd told me what time of day they came in. You were untreated. You had a short wait. So you pretty much went from point to point. What's going on with this urine analysis testing? Histology lab. So did the histology lab get all screwed up today? What's happening in histology here? Number 1, which one is histology? There we go. So histology lab is here. Maybe we just didn't have enough staff in there. Okay. So that's good. We at least learned maybe that might have been one of the problems. You're still untreated, but I thought you were staying overnight, weren't you? No, you're leaving as well. Bye, bronchitis guy. Serologic testing. Now, this person, I have no idea. They had their physical exam. They had an angiography. They just didn't make it through the day. Maybe the hospital's too damn big. That's also a possibility. I've got to take people from point A to point B, and it just takes too long because they're going so far away. All right, let's go ahead and make a copy. Ugh, spending money, spending money. It hurts my face. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll grab a copy of the histology lab and duplicate that. Pressing buttons, pressing the wrong buttons. There we go. Cool. And we'll go ahead and hire another laboratory technician. I wonder if we need to do this at night. No, because that would open up. We don't really have a hospital that's ready to go overnight yet. That's not really a big concern for us. Dirty feet. Early bird. There we go. Early bird with general good qualities. Let's also hire our second person here at the microbiology lab, just because we're in a hiring spree, so why not? So, refresh, take a look at all the goodies. You're going to slow learner. You're a pretty hard worker. All right, fair enough. So more people to hire, more people doing work. So a couple things here. This person here, looks like they came back, and they actually came up and popped up and said, this person should have been released from observation and released back to the clinic, but it's not open. So I guess they'll keep him there overnight. Oh, he just actually got YOLO'd up and left. Fair enough. So apparently he's just going to head out. We also had one room become critical, or show as critical. So if we go to the workload, let's go ahead and go through the departments and see where was our critical emergency room. Here we go. We had medium. Okay, so you actually were too many people, it looks like. We might need another doctor's office by tomorrow, according to that. Did I take out another loan? Ugh, that's brutal. I think I'm just going to hold off for a minute. They're just going to have to deal with it. We need to get more income before we start doing more spending. You know, I like this idea that I'm going like each day is its own episode, so it's working out pretty well right now. So we are pushing through the evening. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up right now. Thank you so much for joining me, as always, for Project Hospital. I look forward to saving more patients tomorrow. Maybe, if we, you know, it'd be nice if we could get this reward here. A $50,000 grant would go a long way towards letting us have a finished or a more furnished or a flushed out specialty department. And I think I'm going to start with probably ortho, because ortho surgeries pay well, and they're not all that risky, so there's less chance of a patient dying on our watch by having the ortho surgery. So I might just put the bare bones in for surgery and see how much money we can make from those. So I hope you join me next episode for day 4 of Project Hospital. Until next time, my friends, my name has been Tobel. You've been awesome. Take care.